Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Tanika Gray Valbrun. I am the founder of the White Dress Project for Uterine Fibroid Awareness, and I hope all of you can see my screen well. But we are a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to raising awareness of uterine fibroids. And uterine fibroids impacts anyone with a uterus, or can impact anyone with a uterus. But the statistics are 90% of Black women by the time they are 50 will have some type of uterine fibroid. I believe it's 70% of white women will have some type of uterine fibroid by the time they're 50. And Asian women, Hispanic and Latino women are somewhere in between 70 and 90. So another high percentage of those women as well will have uterine fibroids. So it is a condition that impacts women. If you have a uterus, you can be impacted by uterine fibroids. And it's something that our organization strives to ensure that people are aware of it. Because a lot of times I think what we do is we deal with these conditions on our own, and we are very, as women, I think we just move on with our careers and our families. And a lot of times our healthcare and what's happening in our body takes a back seat. So my organization has been birthed out of my own personal journey with uterine fibroids. I had 27 fibroids taken out my very first surgery, which was abdominal myomectomy. And I told the story that, you know, I had often dealt with the symptoms of uterine fibroids from my early teens, of probably about 14 or 15. And with the heavy periods, the bloated belly, always looking like I was pregnant, even though I was a very slim teenager and woman, and always looking pregnant, always having to use the bathroom, and always in a lot of pain when my period came. So it was just something that I had lived with, you know, throughout my high school years and throughout college. I just dealt with the symptoms of uterine fibroids. So for me, it was just a way of life, really. And I learned how much it impacted my quality of life, but didn't recognize how much it was really impacting me until I started to have blood transfusions. And when I had these blood transfusions, you know, my mother, who also had fibroids, said, no, we really need to get this checked out. And even years of going through these symptoms, we never really thought that it was fibroids. Even though she had fibroids, we never really conversed about it, or, you know, thought to ourselves, hey, this might be it. But when I started to have multiple blood transfusions because of low anemia, because fibroids feed on blood, so basically they are competing in your body for blood supply, I recognized that I had to do something about my uterine fibroids. So my very first doctor's appointment, they told me that I needed to have a DNC because they could not figure out where the bleeding was coming from. And I did that. I did the DNC, but it did not help the condition because the fibroids were in the muscle of my uterus, and just scraping my uterus, which is what a DNC is, was not going to relieve the problem. So I did the procedure, but just kept it moving, as we say, you know, just continued through college, just continued with life. What am I doing with my career? You know, am I getting married? How am I starting a family? All those things. And our healthcare really takes a back seat. And I finally got diagnosed with uterine fibroids, probably around the age of 25 or so. And I still, as I'm telling the story, I'm thinking to myself how I still put it off, how I still didn't want to deal with it. And because I didn't want to have this invasive surgery, I didn't want to have to take 8 weeks off. I didn't want to be down because my career was thriving and I couldn't stop. I needed to keep it moving. But it was after my sixth or seventh blood transfusion, my mother said to me, no, you can't continue like this. I can't continue to bleed this way. I can't continue with the level of anemia. So I went to a doctor. He told me, forget about it, just have a hysterectomy. You need to save your money and get a surrogate because your uterus is way too compromised with these tumors. And I was devastated. And I thought to myself, I feel like I have done everything right, went to school, on my career, dating, and this was my path. I was very devastated by that. Needless to nonetheless, I found another doctor, and she told me, let's go ahead and have the surgery and let's try to get pregnant. And I got married, had the surgery, and in that surgery, 27 fibroids were removed at that time, which is a lot. And I was, during recovery, I thought to myself, I don't understand why there's so many women. I feel like even within my family, or if I mention uterine fibroids to a girlfriend, they're like, yes, I have fibroids, my mom has fibroids. So it seems to be so many women, but I don't understand why we're not talking about it. I don't understand why there are not national campaigns or legislation. No one asking me to walk or run or t-shirt selling, anything about this condition. So I decided that I wanted to start it myself. And during recovery, I walked into my closet and I realized that I had no white in my closet. And it was just so important to me, just as somebody who loves fashion and loves clothing. And I recognized how much I had sacrificed my quality of life for uterine fibroids. I wanted to use the color white and white clothing as a symbol of hope, to show that our organization was going to start this conversation and curate a community of women who understood that they did not have to suffer in silence with uterine fibroids. So since then, we have grown into a national and international organization. We started in 2014, in July of 2014, but really got going with our work in 2015. And since then, we have, as you can see here, these are our just our social media numbers, the events we have, our website views, just to give you a glimpse of the work that we're doing within the community. I think it's important right now just to read our mission, because it really speaks to what we try to do at our organization. The mission of the White Dress Project is to raise global awareness about the uterine fibroid epidemic through education, research, community, and advocacy. We are dedicated to this mission by educating on fibroids and treatment options, partnering on needed research, empowering a community that will advocate for the best health and no longer suffer in silence. We feel that we are here to advocate for the community and advocate for people who are suffering with uterine fibroids so that they can get the education they need to be their own best health advocate. So since then, we have created just a host of programs and that we feel will serve the community best. These are our 22 programs and initiatives. White Dress Cares is a pen pal program where we match people managing fibroids with other people who can support their journey and help them navigate challenges throughout the fibroid journey. So for example, if Tanika wants to share her journey with having 2 myomectomies, which is the surgical removal of fibroids, then I can connect with Lisa, who may be starting her journey, or Radley, who may be in the middle of her journey, and just share best practices that have either helped me or share our journeys together. We are very clear that, a lot of times you will not be matched with a doctor, but another patient who is sharing their story and can just offer guidance. And we tell you to absolutely share this guidance with your doctor so that you make the best health decision for yourself. One of the things that we're most proud about is Fibroid Awareness Month. And in 2014, I authored legislation naming July as Fibroid Awareness Month and presented that to the US House of Representatives. And since then, every July, we recognize July as Uterine Fibroids Awareness Month through the US House. And we do that by curating multiple creative events with the goal of educating everyone about fibroids. And this year, 2022, we are thrilled to launch our 4-day weekend event, and it's called the Empowerment Experience. And our theme is Freedom to Blossom. And with that theme, we want people to understand that there is really a lot of shame that you feel with this condition, a lot of stigma that's around it, but we want you to have the freedom to blossom, to share your story, and to be a part of a community that you know is going to support you through this journey. In addition to that, we have Taboo Talks, which is an educational series. We often bring patients and advocates and physicians together to discuss new trends in gynecological disorders and normalizing the conversation around these conditions so that people understand that they do not have to suffer in silence. Our annual fundraising gala is called Night in White, and it's during Fibroid Awareness Month in July, and it brings together just everyone, right? Community advocates, health influencers, women and men, to raise funds to help improve the quality of life for people living with uterine fibroids. Dialogue with the Doctor series are very similar to Taboo Talks and the Empowered Patient Brunch, all just educational series to get people talking about uterine fibroids and to be educated on what they can do to navigate their journey. We also have the White Dress Warrior Box, which is a wellness box that is created by our partners Care Crates. And it's just a seasonal box with all the essential goodies for people managing life with fibroids. So vitamin D, a heating pad. We have Sensibles, which are bags that you can use to dispose of your pads. And a percentage of it goes directly towards the work that we're doing. Another thing that we have is the Fibroid Experience Survey, and this is conducted by our research committee. And it's our attempt to really get data behind women and their quality of life with uterine fibroids, what they want to know, and so that we can present this data to doctors, to legislators, to gynecological associations, so that they can better be informed about what we are experiencing. Ways that you can help and support our organization. There are so many ways. As you know, with any nonprofit, there's a lot of work to be done always. So it's important for us to reach out in ways like this through the Harvard Global Initiative that we're here for today, to make sure that we're sharing our message and really asking for people to connect with us. So here are some ways that you can join us: by joining a board committee, making a donation, sponsoring an event, attending our Fibroid Awareness Month weekend that will be held in Washington, DC, selecting the White Dress Project as your preferred charity on Amazon Smile, and creating a birthday fundraiser on Facebook Meta for your birthday. On the left side, you'll just see those things repeated, but this is also our outline for our Empowerment Experience weekend that will be held in Washington, DC this year. So you can help in all these ways. Obviously, this is our agenda here, but those are all ways we're looking for volunteers. And in addition to that, do you have this skill set? Public relations, governance, marketing and strategy, fundraising, advocacy, and legal. We're often looking for these different genres of industry to help us move our nonprofit organization along. And this is just some of the work that we've done in the advocacy space. One of the things we're most proud of is the Stephanie Tubbs Jones Uterine Fibroid Research and Education Act that was introduced by a host of US House Representatives and Senate Representatives. And this will give funding to our National Institutes of Health to really research fibroids as it impacts women, and really figure out what we can do on the research level to ensure that we're making strides in this area. In the chat, I have put an area where you can sign up for our volunteer. Let me see where it is. Okay, sign up to volunteer with us. And I will just post it in the chat again so it's here fresh. So you can sign up here to volunteer with us, once again, for our sessions in DC. And then if you're not in DC and can't join us, there are a host of committees that we have that you can also sign up for. So really, really appreciate you joining us today.